Good afternoon, everybody. It is exactly 12 noon on this Friday, the 14th of September, last trading day of the week. Well, for regular instruments, for everything except for cryptos, it is the last trading day of the week. Okay, let's go ahead and get into this. So yesterday saw a pretty decent drive, no doubt about that. We saw it. A really nice move in Bitcoin where pretty much the open was the low. That's a powerful sign when on a daily chart, when you see that the open is also the low. I mean, okay, well, the open was 63.26, the low was 63.23. So yeah, we'll say it's the open and the close are pretty much the same price. And we closed very near the high of the day too. So there's not a very large wick on this. The high was at 65.30, and the close was at 64.85. We are currently trading in the 6500s. We've traded on this daily. We've traded it as high as 65.80, and we've really tried to push down lower, bought back up, return to value. Lots of bullish momentum in here. So if we look at the chart on the Ichimoku system, on the 4-hour, there's a lot of early bullish signals that we're looking at on the 4-hour. So the cloud ahead is green, so the Senko span A is greater than span B. This is a good sign. The lagging span is above price, the conversion of the baseline, and it's sitting there. There's a non-existent cloud up here. This is an interesting area because when you see things like this with the cloud where it's almost non-existent, but if I put the lines there, you can probably see a little better. I don't know why that's colored orange. Never understood that. So this is a pretty non-existent cloud followed by a very thin cloud. So as we get up to the 10th of September at 7 o'clock, then that's when we finally get into a larger trading cloud. But otherwise, really from here to 7 o'clock tomorrow evening, it's going to be very easy for the lagging span to cross above this price action here. And because we have a very large cloud here, and that we're still inside of it, there's a pretty nice expanse, easy for us to move from here up to the top of the cloud over here. But this is a flat cloud. That is a very strong area of resistance or support. In this case, resistance. Oh yeah, by the way, we are starting an hour early. If you came here at 1 o'clock expecting to see it live, apologize. We had but we do have I have a meeting that I need to attend at 1, so it came up and we're gonna do this right now, which is fine. There's a couple zones that I think we should be aware of. So we've looked at the head and shoulders pattern that is right here. We see the head and shoulders pattern here that we traded out of it yesterday, and this is the hourly chart. We kind of retested that neckline here. That was at 1 in the afternoon, and then, or rather 1 in the morning, and then today, well, overnight, in the London Open, we saw it test that. Well, it didn't really get down there, but it did try to drive lower, and we can see that price found support right at the point of control here. This is this entire down zone here that we've been trading in this range. That has been the area where we've seen the most volume has been traded at this price level. So we saw that trade up. We've seen it push higher here. This is interesting because it looks like we're forming a right shoulder on a head and shoulder pattern. Okay, but if we look at Ethereum, it already has a head and shoulder pattern and it was invalidated. I mean, so far we're looking like, we got a really responsive bounce. We saw a pretty nice drive up here that just closed on the hourly, a pretty strong close up at the $217 area, and now we're in the noon, and we see it just experiencing a little bit of selling pressure here within the first 5-6 minutes. But this inverse this regular head and shoulders pattern did not play out. If we look over here, if we go back to Bitcoin's chart, we'll see if it wants to play out, or if we get the same kind of reaction, because what happened on Ethereum is it formed and then see, a head and shoulders pattern actually is not valid until that neckline breaks. And I think the Ethereum chart is a good example of why you wait for a neckline break. Because if you shorted at the top here, cool, you caught a couple pips there, but the problem is that head and shoulders patterns are often rejected. They're the most profitable pattern, but only after there's a break. So, a head and shoulders pattern doesn't actually form until you've had a break of that neckline. Otherwise, you just have a possible head and shoulders pattern. And, people trade to the inverse of these all the time. If there's not a lot of volume coming in near the bottom of that neckline, then there's really no point in trying to trade into it. I mean, I've said this yesterday, I've said this many times, trying to trade a head and shoulders pattern before there's a neckline break it's like trying to chase straights and flushes in poker. Sometimes you get lucky, but more often than not, you're going to get burned. All right. Once a head and shoulders pattern has had a neckline break, if we remember, we went over those the Bulkowski statistics on that. No, that wasn't Bulkowski. That was I forget who that was. Dang it. It was two people. But that study showed that there was a 60 to 68% chance of it of generating at least 5% of profit. And that, I don't remember the percentage, but a lot of the time there's also a retest. So you get a breakdown of the neck, followed by prices trading back up to that neck as a retest, and then it goes down again. So, and I know I've mentioned this before lately, but when you do the head and shoulders pattern, a lot of people, myself included, I like to see a retest of that neckline and then take that short. Or if it's the inverse head and shoulder, I like to see a retest and then take the long. You risk missing a continual move out of there. You miss that breakout if it doesn't retest, but there's always other trading opportunities. So I did this morning, looking at the current price action, and I see that this arc, the inner arc of this large arc, acted as that resistance area where we saw price just fall right down here. And then we've stayed inside the arc, traded back up to it, faced resistance, but now we haven't like shot all the way down to test here. So more than likely, I see price action consolidating, or I can see it trading down to 6,300, riding this angle here as price would keep trading up and doesn't want to trade against this, and then eventually moving up here and then popping out, or we just trade flat towards the intersection of this of this 3x1 and this arc, and then we pop out of it, or we just trend higher here and then we pop out of it. That's the bullish scenario. We have to be careful though, because what does this entire thing look like? See, we do have that inverse head and shoulders. Let me do it over here. Okay, we do have this inverse head and shoulders pattern, but what else is there? We've got to look at everything. It's a bear flag. Okay, that's what we have here. We have a bear flag, or we could bring it down a little bit if we wanted to. That's really what we have going on. So, you know, we want to be careful of that because there is a case where we could see prices follow this channel, you know, stay at resistance here. This, like right now, I think is a key area to pay attention to, because we see, holy cow, Nano just shat up even more. Or is it at the same one? I just saw it on Binance's thing. Okay, yeah, it's yeah. Nano, huge move. A breakout of a triangle. This is pretty textbook. There's a reason they call crypto, or rather, I know they say Bitcoin is the perfect technical market. At least the CEO and founder of Market Analyst has written an article about that. But this is purely like straight up technical 101 in trading triangles. Is that you want to see prices in the middle, so the 2/3 of the way through a triangle, and it's very common that before the breakout of a triangle you'll see volume dissipate, and that's exactly what has happened. We've seen volume decrease as we've gotten in here, and that's generally the thing you need to see before you see the breakout. So this is a good example of a bullish pennant, and that's why pennants and flags are generally the easiest things to trade, because they happen frequently. They're continuation patterns. But we've got kind of like an inverse view of things here, because this is really what we're looking at is a bear flag, which is a continuation pattern. And so ultimately, guys, what we really need to observe is we need to see a big drive higher, and it has to be above this, with all this price action here. I mean, it really has to be above the highs that we've made so far. So the 65.80, it really needs to get beyond that and trade above that and hold above that and bust out of this arc. And all of those kind of conditions, we're looking at the mirrored foldback pattern. That's ultimately what the next move is supposed to be, is a big drive to the top. This is a flat. That's very doji-ish, isn't it? So that's ultimately what we are looking for, is a real break of that structure and to drive it higher. And there may be a urge to trade this down. We'll see, though. The short interest has been falling. We can see that is dropping, and if we were looking at this like it was its own bear flag, then we should see prices. I mean, this is a precarious area for. I mean, a chart is a chart. Doesn't matter what the chart is; it'll follow the same rules. So, even though this is really like an inverse bull chart, the likely scenario here is to see this fall apart and drive down lower. This is the Bitfinex's short interest. So, yeah, we'll see how that plays out. Now, gee whiz, that is a heck of a mover. That is a wild one. Actually, where are we at here? Oh, crap, where are you at? Hold on. Yeah, we'll see if there's any. I just was on the other screen here. I'm actually moving some profit out of there. I thought my stop was just one of my profit targets was just a hair above there, and I actually want to peel a little off. And set the limit back. I will see. All right. Okay, so moving on here. I think Bitcoin really want to trade up there. 4-hour charts looking kind of. That's a weird. There's a lot of shorts that want to keep this guy down, and so this is in the law of vibration square of 92. Just kind of a different. If we see the law of vibration chart versus the square 52 chart, we really see the kind of the same kind of like conclusion, or the same ultimate. What am I looking for here? We've reached the same conclusion, just telling the story differently in two different types of geometries, and that's the kind of stuff as a Gannist that I like to see. Is I want to see two different squares and two different types of geometries that I know the Bitcoin chart is sensitive to, and I see that in the square 52, and I see that in the law vibration square. So they're both up against important arcs and angles with some price action. So we'll see if there's enough short pressure here to drive this down lower. I mean, certainly this is the time of day, and this is just kind of how Bitcoin likes to work, is that we have Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays where we get into the afternoon, and especially on Fridays, we can often see some big moves, and it's really easy to move the market during the Friday afternoon because there's just not a lot of people there trading. They're just kind of hanging out and just not doing a whole lot. So the volume drops a little bit, and yeah, it's just wait, what the heck is this? Oh, one sec. Oh, okay. All right. All right. Two things going on at once. I usually do some things over the noon hour. As far Bitcoin trade here, what I'm really looking for is I want to see a rejection of the neckline that would form here. Let's get that up there. Where are you at? I don't know if we want to do it there. Probably could. I mean, there's a break here, but there's a part of me that's like, shouldn't it go there? That doesn't make sense, though. What do we look like on a 4 hour? Four hours a little different. But I kind of like that a little better. It seems a little bit more, yeah, a little bit more tighter pattern. But yeah, that's really ultimately what we're kind of looking for here. We'll see. I mean, either way, there's going to be a lot of movement out of this one way or the other. This is one of those really, really fun zones to look at. I mean, let's never mind Bitcoin. Ethereum's the most sold off thing here, and it's actually got its own inverse head and shoulder pattern here. I don't know if I haven't seen anybody else really identify it. Yeah, that kind of coincides in there. I was thinking there. No, that doesn't work out at all. Okay, but okay, I get a little picky about this. I want to take a screenshot of this so I can put it in my trade idea. So yeah, that's gonna be a tough little area to crack for Ethereum, I think, because I mean, this arc has been a pretty strong resistance level for Ethereum. If you remember, what was this, last week or the week before? Yeah, it was last week. was talking about this zone where if we break through it, we rally up a lot higher, but that has not been the, what the heck is that line? That did not play out. That was just a big sell-off zone. And now we're returning to the same arc that was that selling condition. And so it's not surprising that, I mean, again, you know, arcs are like, they're supposed to act like force fields or shields or whatever. Or you can think of it as like they're the same polar, same magnetic pole. And so as prices get up to it, I mean, prices like to stay away from these arcs. That's why they're so, you know, they're so like prices are really responsive to these arcs as an area of rejection or support. So it's not surprising that as we've gotten closer here, it's just price action has really wanted to stay away from it. But there's if you think of it like the magnet, okay, if you think of it like two magnets pressing up against each other, and there's one magnet sitting right here, you know, there's the neckline of this inverse head and shoulders, and then here's this arc. There's a lot of pushback here. But I mean, just think of this as a magnet too, and then it's moving up towards it, and the pressure builds, and then eventually, you know, it's like you let go of both of them, what happens, and it just shoots up. I mean, they just kind of shoot away from each other. And in this case, if we're looking at the bullish direction, we'd be seeing a pretty strong breakout to the upside. You know, again, comparing Ethereum and Bitcoin right now, Ethereum is way more overdone than Bitcoin. It's certainly the laggard amongst the whole bunch, and it's actually lagging in performance against a whole lot of other cryptocurrencies as well. It's it's just kind of sitting in a very precarious zone. Although this is the kind of stuff we want to see. This is not the most what's what I'm looking for. I mean, it's not like this is like a nerve testing zone. You know, because like right now you have to think about this. The overall trend is still bearish, but I mean, I think this is the bottom. If this isn't the bottom, then we go to like $30 or less. But this entire zone here is very rejection heavy. It's very strong resistance, in addition to being in a pretty bearish trend. So any break of that zone here is going to be a very big deal. It'll be a real big pain in the butt for people who have shorts. Oh, let me see. Are the shorts falling down again here? Let's see. You know what? I'm going to set an alert, because I want to know if that were to cross there. I want to crosses that price, then I know that we have a bit of a down drive in shorts, which is bullish for Bitcoin and cryptos in general. Yeah, so I mean, right here we can see this is a pretty good sign. We saw price trade above on the hourly. We're above the baseline. We see that the conversion line is actually arcing up. We tested below the base and touched the conversion line, traded back above it. So we're holding above the conversion and the baseline here. That is a bullish sign, something to be aware of and pay attention to. You know, there's a hang on for this. I'm looking at the order book on the other screen here. In fact, why don't I pull that up, because where are you at? Oh shoot, I accidentally logged out. I can go to Coinigy. I did go over Coinigy before, right? I went over that here. I think so. Maybe. Okay, Coinigy. I was looking at Nano. N-A-N-O. Where are you at? No, I want nano Bitcoin. So yeah, look at the if we look at the order book, there's quite a bit of support. Yeah, I mean you can just tell that the sell side here is not as heavy. There's a pretty broad distribution of buyers. Basically means the asks. This is like what people are wanting to either sell at, or they are looking to buy at. There's a little bit of both, but basically this means if there's less of a volume of orders in the ask, it's easier to plow through it. Okay, it's like a heavier walls of bids kind of push up against the momentum of the asks and vice versa. So there's definitely a bullish sided approach here that we see. What does Bitcoins look like right now? I've been hanging out on a little bit of the trade ideas because I don't think it's safe to actually initiate any new trades at these levels right here. I want to see where they go. I mean, ultimately, I think we keep moving up higher. We may get a whiplash down before, but I don't think we make any new yearly lows. I could be totally wrong though. BTC, where the heck? There we are. Bitcoin Tether. Okay, so I mean, yeah, we see here that there's a lot of pressure up here, but I'm looking at it on the right here. This doesn't look so bad. We see 64.52. Bids are getting eaten up. I was totally on the reverse. I'm so used to jigsaw tools where they're flipped. Bids and asks are flipped. There we go. Yeah, we'll see how heavy the spread's really that right there. 47. What is Bitfinex reading here? BTC, Bitcoin dollar pair. Well, that is a little wavy. That's Bitcoin gold. There we go. Here we go. Oi, a 0.1 spread. Okay. So there's a buy wall, sell walls. Actually, let's check out GDAX, Coinbase. Oops. This looks really weird. Why is there so little? Three, those are the walls. That can't be right. That can't be right. I gotta look at this. Give me a second. I'm actually pulling up Coinbase's website on my other screen. I want to make sure that this is reading this right. This doesn't seem correct at all. Coinbase. Oops. This is quite the discrepancy. There's a pretty large difference. This is what the hell is up with this? Look at all that. Okay, hold on. I want to pull up Bitcoin dollar. Okay, I see this. There's a lot of orders going in at 64.80. It's just getting peppered. I mean, yeah, you can see it over here. Huh. This is pretty flat. $11. You know, I don't know. There's partially degraded service. I haven't seen that light come on Coinbase Pro in a while. That means that it's got a lot of activity. I'm just looking at the order flow over here, the execution, trade history, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of buying going on. I don't know if it outbeat this though. Haven't seen this move at all. 64.80. Gosh, guys, yeah, there could be a monster pop here. Just want to be on the lookout for that if that happens. Same with Ethereum. It's kind of in a make or break levels that we're at. There's been a lot of those lately. Yeah, I mean, not a lot of other things to really look at right now, folks. These are just we're right on a I mean, it's not a surprise that we're near a key zone for a bearish continuation or for bullish reversal, and yeah, so I really don't have much more to say than that. So it'll be a short day, which is fine. Anyways, I hope you guys have had a really great week so far. Hope your Friday's been good. Hope you found some benefit from the Decrypto market session we do Monday through Friday. If you can, please give us a like, a thumbs up, and subscribe, and leave a nice comment or something. All those things are very much appreciated. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your trade day today. Have a safe and relaxing and fun weekend. You know, disconnect from the market at least a day if you can on Saturday. And yeah, I hope everything goes well for you all, and I look forward to talking with you on Monday. Forex Lens, folks, I'll see you in the morning. The crypto markets, I'll see you Monday at 1 p.m. Have a good one. Bye-bye.